Well, it is Thursday afternoon. I spent the morning looking for pieces and parts for that electrical pole again. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But last night I got this graded a little bit with the box grader. Yeah, looks all right. Those are from last night, those tire tracks. Definitely not this morning. Too slick this morning. I tried to back the truck up over there to hook it back up to that trailer so I can actually get the tractor in it and scoop that out without risking that trailer trying to flip or get a little crazy. And this is from me this morning trying to get in, so I didn't want to mess up the grading I did over here, because I was about an hour worth of dragging that box back and forth last night in the dark using the lights from the truck that was actually parked there and the lights on the tractor. So I thought, well, I should be able to come around this post, and that tree stump. You can see the tire tracks all kind of came right around the side here. But as soon as I started to turn to go that way, the truck just slid this way because there's a little bit of a slope down here. I mean, we're not talking like huge 45-degree angle or anything. We're talking maybe 15 degrees or something. But 7,000-pound truck against this clay mud means that the truck just slides this way. Even with coming over here, you see the tire tracks there coming back and forth a couple times trying to keep the truck high enough so that I could eventually maybe grab that gravel bed that I put there last night. But I never could do it. I kept getting either too close to this tree for my comfort or too close to that tree for my comfort. So I decided to go around, and that ended up working out. I slid a little bit back over there. You might be able to see those tracks, but not too bad. And I was able to just kind of squeeze in here and back up enough that I could actually connect to that trailer so I can get the tractor out a little bit and get with it. So yeah, today I gotta get all that 57 out of the back of that trailer and finish putting it all in here. Hopefully that will be enough to keep the tractor or the camper and the truck from sliding all over the place trying to back in here. We'll see though. Might have to wait a little bit longer, let this mud clean up or clear up. When I got back, the water utility company was here again, West Knox Utilities District, and he was about to call me. He actually called me as I was walking up the road there to discuss the placement of the meter. So he told me to mark it with this post, drive it in more, and then spray paint meter and circle an area so that when they come back out here, they can actually know where to put it. They also have to dial 811 or call 811 before they do anything. So that's another 3 days. So the earliest they could dig would be Tuesday. And he said chances are it'll be longer than that, only because coronavirus, they have a skeleton crew. And yeah, he didn't know for sure when a crew would be able to come out here. Anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about this power pole. So I've been looking for a 5/8 inch eye bolt, which is what this is. This is 12 inches long, and every place I've talked to said it wouldn't work for me because it was too long. Obviously this is a 4x4, so that's 3.5 inches wide, and I guess maybe you can see the threads end here, and then the rest of the shaft or the shank is right here. And I guess I've probably had the gross conceptual error of how eye bolts work my whole life. But after spending 2 days and countless hours looking for it, I called CED and talked to the gentleman there, and he said yep, they had them. They work for 4x4s up to 6x6s, and if I need anything bigger, they had it. So I went down there, and it's pretty much almost downtown Knoxville. And got there, and he came out, talked, he went and got it, came back, and this is what he brought out. And I was like, nope, that's what everyone else has brought, you know, and they've all said it won't work. Because when I tried to explain it to him, and he just kind of looked at me, he said, nope, the threads, you know, that's wide enough for a 4x4 to fit in there. It's wide enough for a 6x6. If you need anything bigger, you'd go bigger. And I said, no, you know, if you tighten a bolt, a nut, onto this shank, stop where the threads are, if you notice, you know, there'll be a lot of play on that eye bolt. And I said, so that doesn't work. I need something that's like 6 inches total, which would be about here, and then the threads would end about here, and then I would be able to tighten that thing up. And he just said, well, no, this works just fine. He said, you know, you put a nut and a washer on one side, and you put a nut and the washer on the other side, and you tighten it up. He said, this is made for a 4x4, 6x6. And so you could see with that on either side, I could easily take a nut and washer, thread it on here, facing that way. So it'd be on this side of it, and then do the same thing on the other side and tighten it up, and that's what you use. So you're never too old to learn something, and I guess I've been using eye bolts wrong my whole life, because usually I just buy them thick enough to go through what I need with the threads long enough to stick out the back so I can tighten it up against the actual post or whatever I am screwing it into, which usually means the eye bolt ends up being up against the wood like that. I usually put a washer on that side, and then the threads and the nut usually are back here on this back side. And maybe that's how traditional eye bolts work, but that's not how these work for the electric poles. So I learned something, and the guy was nice enough to explain it to me. And he said, for all my trouble, since I've been driving around and no one's been able to explain to me that those are made for 4x4s or 6x6s, he let me have that on the house. He just asked me to think about them next time I needed any electrical stuff. So he definitely has made a customer for me. But yeah, I'm gonna get with it now and see if I can't get all that gravel unloaded and get it down here in this driveway. It might be too muddy to work with today. We will see.